Hello. Now we're going to talk about some specific stuff from the book. The book likes to talk about first line defenses, like your tears and your skin and fun things like that. So we're going to just let your textbook video play because it explains how they explain it. Maybe.
Host defenses can be divided into two categories, innate or non-specific defenses, and adaptive or specific defenses. These defenses act together to protect the host against infection. The human body has many innate or non-specific defenses to prevent disease. These include the first-line defenses such as the skin and mucous membranes, plus the second-line defenses such as phagocytosis, inflammation, and the complement system. All of these defenses act against all pathogens and are not specific to a given pathogen. The third line of defense is comprised of the adaptive or specific defenses. These defenses recognize a specific pathogen and must be activated by antigen-presenting cells before they can work. These defenses include antibodies and cytotoxic cells. Together, these defenses make it very difficult for pathogens to penetrate, colonize, and cause disease.
Okay, so that was just a little video overview. Again, this chapter is really about your body's innate defenses. Remember, you're just at birth, and it's to every disease, you're going to have the same response when you're talking about innate immunity. Okay, so why aren't the skin and mucous membrane barriers significant factors in your resistance to infection by hyperthermophils? Do you remember what hypothermophils are? You might want to pause it. And maybe think about what your body temperature is normally and what hyperthermophils are. You're welcome to pause it, and otherwise I'm just going to tell you what it is. So the body is naturally resistant to infection with hyperthermophils because normal body temperature is too low to support their growth. So these are things that you would see, remember, in like the hot springs or things like that. So consequently, barriers are not a factor in protecting us from infection of these microbes. So that's why we're not talking about that. Okay, let's talk about the first line of defense. This is going to be your skin, your mucous membranes, your respiratory whole area of your respiratory, your digestive system, your urinary system, your reproductive systems, and all the things that go into protecting those. Okay, let's start with your skin. You have an epidermis. You have multiple layers here of skin, and it keeps you from getting infected by just random bacteria. Few pathogens can actually penetrate directly into your skin. The shedding of dead skin also removes microorganisms. Epidermal dendrite cells phagocytose pathogens if they're on there. And your dermis also is collagen fibers to help skin resist abrasions. Here's a little scanning micrograph of your skin. Okay, the role of skin, again, perspiration secreted in sweat glands is salty and inhibits growth of pathogens. It has antimicrobial peptides and act against microorganisms, and it also has lysosomes, which destroy the walls of bacteria. So your sweat is a little bit awesome. Also, skin has sebum, which secretes in oil glands. This keeps your skin pliable and less likely to break, and lowers the skin pH to a level that is inhibitory for bacteria. So your skin is amazing. Mucus. Let's talk mucus. Mucous membranes line all body cavities. There's two distinct layers to these. There's the epithelial layer, which is the thin outer covering of your mucous membranes. Your epithelial cells are actually alive. They're tightly packed and they prevent pathogens. They can also shed, just like your skin cells. And they have dendritic cells below epithelia, which phagocytose. Pull in. Phagocytose pathogens. There's also some deeper connective tissue in there that supports your epithelium. And a lot of it produces pathogens that produces chemicals that defend against pathogens. Here's a little little picture of all of your mucous membranes and how delightful they are. Table of your mucous membranes. Okay. Okay, this is just really random, but I like it. Okay. Your lacrimal apparatus, which produces your tears. Here it is. Right, here's all the tear situations. It actually a tear duct. It can come. So when you cry, sometimes your nose runs. Yeah. Or you can feel it back here. This is your nasolacrimal, right? It's your tear ducts, essentially. Here's like a zoom in of it. And your tear ducts actually produce and drain tears, obviously. Blinking spreads the tears and washes the surface of your eye. And there's lysosomes in your tears that destroy bacteria. What? Sweet. So the crying and the eyes just like running all of a sudden when you have an allergy response or you're sick, that's to clean out the bacteria from your eyes. Okay. So your basically whole body has a microbiome. This has become really popular in, you take this and it's like a prebiotic and a microbiotic and all kinds of stuff to like settle your natural microbiome. It's true. You do have a natural microbiome. It may not kill all of your ills though. It may just be something that has always been there. So you have a microbiome and it competes with the potential pathogens. So you have like good guys that are pathogens and bad guys. You have good guys that are just bacteria that live in your body all the time and they fight off the bad guys. Members of the microbiome make it hard for pathogens to compete because they consume most of the nutrients. They create an environment unfavorable to other organisms. They prevent pathogens from attacking. They help stimulate the body's secondary line of defense. They generate antimicrobial compounds, and they promote overall health by providing vitamins to the host. So it is important that you have a healthy microbiome. Antimicrobial peptides are present in your skin, your mucous membranes, and your neutrophils. They act against a variety of microbes. And we will talk about, here's some of them. Specifically, your saliva, your stomach acid, your bile. Vomiting, all the good stuff. Look at that. Very exciting. Okay, so some strains of Staphylococcus produce exfoliative toxin, a chemical that causes portions of the entire outer layer of the skin to be sloughed off in a disease called scalded skin syndrome. Given that cells of the outer layer are going to fall off anyway, why do we care? Feel free to pause it and think about it. So lysosomes target and destroy bacterial cell walls, cleaving bonds between sugar subunits in peptidoglycan. Yes, remember peptidoglycan? Since humans lack peptidoglycan, the person is unharmed by the effects of the enzyme, but the enzyme removes peptidoglycan. See, isn't microbiology fun? Okay, so now we're done with the whole skin. So the pathogen has already gotten inside, right? You've gotten past the skin and the mucus and the eyes. You're in, right? So basically now we need to get it out or kill you or do something because you are an invader. So these are a different set of cells, mostly your white blood cells, and chemicals and processes, which are contained in your blood that fight everything off. First and foremost, you have blood plasma. Yes? Did we know this? You have blood plasma. Mostly water containing electrolytes, dissolved gases, nutrients, and proteins. That's mostly what your plasma is made of. It also contains heme, iron-binding compounds, also complement proteins, and antibodies are also found in the plasma. Here is defensive blood cells, your leukocytes. Right here is the army that we are going to pull from. Okay, you got your red blood cells, you got your platelets, you got your basophils, neutrophils, eosinophils, monocyte, and a lymphocyte, right? These are our innate immunity. These are adaptive immunity. So here, these guys, we're talking about these guys, mostly basophils, neutrophils, eosinophils. These are going to be our main players here as we move forward. Erythrocytes carry oxygen and carbon dioxide in the blood. Platelets are involved in blood clotting. Leukocytes are involved in defending the body against invaders. So here's our leukocytes, and they are divided in